Wow, Danster, you are numero uno. Danster, shutout, unfinished project. Wow. Danster, gold star. So what is going on? It's on the ground floor. Out the door from O. So what is happening? It says I'm number one. Taking off my drawers. ah. It says I'm number one. I'd rather be number one than number two. Didn't really do much of anything this weekend. Got my lawn mowed. Went on a motorcycle ride. Oh, next Saturday, I am going on a motorcycle ride. We're taking me and 4 or 5 friends. We're all going to ride from our area down to Lake Michigan shoreline at Grand or South Haven, and then we're going to ride up Michigan shoreline up to one of my favorite little places called Pure Cove for a stop. So you're going to see South Haven Beach, Pure Cove Beach, which is 66 feet of beach. And then we're going to go up to Grand Haven, which is Coast Guard City, USA. And then we're going to do something special after that. All nude review on the Wolverine Garage. The world is just not ready for that. Trust me. Not ready. It would be funny, though, to do the Drew Carey skit where all the guys are dressed up like UPS guys and they got the package in front of their pants. That'd be funny to do as a group. So, yeah, we've got like 3 stops up Michigan shoreline. And Grand Haven is actually a pretty cool place. They've got a hill that they call 5 Mile Hill, and they claim that you can see 5 miles out on Lake Michigan. But it's all clouded up. You can go drive up there, but you can't see anything because all the hoity-toity houses that block everything. But yeah, so Grand Haven is actually pretty cool. And when Coast Guard Festival's going on, does nothing special. What is going on, my guy? Oh, hey. What's happening, Saw? Coast Guard City, USA, Grand Haven, Michigan. So every year they have the Coast Guard Festival. Mean Street Mopar, what's going on? So it's once a year they have the Coast Guard Festival. The Coast Guard comes home to Coast Guard City, USA, and then they bring all the big ships in, and then they all dock up to Grand Haven. Then it's the festival. And they do fireworks, they have musical fountains. It's like a cruise in for boats. you're going to see everything under the sun, from the most majestic pontoon boats you ever seen to the coolest twin Allison V12 wooden hull boat that is got more chrome and teak on it than in your wet dreams. And it's all there. Sailboats. It's really cool. It's a cool place. It's Coast Guard time. It's a neat place anyway, but Coast Guards USA. Yeah, as a matter of fact, my friend had a Chrysler 300 that was all striped up like a Ram Chargers car. And it was white and had Ram. It didn't say Ram Chargers on it, but it had a very Ram Charger-esque head stripes, horizontal stripes on the deck lid of it. And we're in Grand Haven during Coast Guard Festival, and you drive. It's faster to walk because it's just bumper to bumper traffic. People are trying to cruise. People are trying to get to the park. And it's just horrible. And we're driving this 300, and we've got the heat on full tilt, windows down. It's August, and all sorts of nods and waves and, hey, how's it going? Cool car. And we're going, please don't overheat. Please don't overheat. Please don't overheat. So we get all the way in, and we drive up past the state park, up into private area, up onto 5 Mile Hill, where he proceeds to put the thing in neutral and stand on the throttle just to move some air across the radiator. And he quick gets out, we get the hell out of there and we get back into traffic. And oh man, we made it out. And it took, it takes you an hour and a half to travel a mile. It's a cool place if you want to see and be seen, though. A lot of sweet cars. Smart people go park. And that's the other problem. There's no parking because it's all taken up. Car clubs will take up parking spaces, and it's actually a pretty neat time. But we're not going there for Coast Guard Festival. We're just going to be going through regular old Grand Haven. Actually, the Coast Guard HQ was actually in the news a number of years ago. A gentleman, the cheese fell off of his cracker, and he decided to go poke around at one of the forcibly enter one of the Coast Guard station. Yeah, he didn't do very well. By Mozart. You know what? I have no clue. I wish I was that culture. I know Mozart, but I don't know song titles. So I'm sorry. I don't know. Wouldn't it be awesome if I was just like belting it out and you guys are like, why do you think the cheese ended up at the COG station? If I Can Dream by Elvis Presley. Okay, that I know more. Am I Peter Griffin? Hey, Lois. Giggity, giggity, goo. All right. I Can Dream by Elvis Presley. No. I can sing. I know other Elvis songs, not I Can Dream. Like blue moon over Kentucky, keep on shining. Turbsky Tom, the roller coaster man. How was riding that roller coaster, being some of the first people? Was it everything you desired in life and more? Did it take you to another dimension? No, I don't look like Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was thin, he had blonde hair. And no, I do not look like Jeffrey Dahmer. Too short. Ah, that sucks. What's happening? Well, I've been told I look like a lot of people, but never thought I'd be told I look like Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay. If Jeffrey Dahmer's refrigerator could sing a song, what would it be? My baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. Ooh. Hello. If I lost weight, I would look exactly like Jeffrey Dahmer. No. No. He's like more Scandinavian. Lean. Long face. He looks great. He's dead. I'm refreshing my drink. Be right back. How do you say somebody looks like Jeffrey Dahmer? And need that. If I lost weight, I'd still be fat. The problem with losing weight is it keeps finding me. No, in serious note, losing weight's hard. But you can make choices and things get better. So it's a slow process. Used to be for me. I've actually it's really slowed down. I don't need to eat in mass quantities anymore like I used to. So yeah, it used to be. Then again, I didn't have like my own garage to work on stuff full time and stuff, and now I'm not bored. Oh, excuse me. No matter what I do, I stay exactly 287. I could only wish I stayed at 287. Do I play Fortnite? No. The only video games that I like is I still have my Nintendo from when I was a little kid, and I have a Super Nintendo, and I have a Game Boy. And I haven't touched any of those things in probably about 6 years, but I have them. The Game Boy is super mint. But that's all the gaming consoles I got. I spend a lot of my time out in the shop wrenching on stuff. Oh, you have a PS1? Cool. We had, my cousin ended up with it. It was a Sega. It was before the Dreamcast. It was something Sega with a disc. And yeah, I do like the old. Not bad. Ain't plugging over a decade. I've got a big collection of original Nintendo stuff. I should bust all that out sometime. Yeah, it's all packed away. But I've got like 50 or 60 games, um, controllers, and I got a Power Glove. Um, but I don't have a CRT TV to use it on. So yeah, with our modern TVs, you can't use your Power Glove. But I got one. I've got both Gyromite and Stack Up because I intended to go out and find a Nintendo robotic operating buddy, and it was this little robot that had hands and he picked up stuff. And Stack Up, you played on the TV, and then there were segments where he would be activated and he'd grab a spinning top and he'd pick it up and he'd set it down on these things and stack them up. And I intended to get one of those and never did because they're so damned expensive. But I got the games. I've got a remote control it's a 4-player splitter for your NES, and then you've got a transponder that plugs into both the ports on your NES, and then it's infrared and it's about that big. It's a 4-player controller splitter, so you can play 4-player games, and then you just turn it on and it's infrared and goes right to your Nintendo, and you can have it literally across the room. Pretty highfalutin stuff in 1990. My buddy at work's a very good PC gamer. Part of the world are you from? I am from United States. I'm from Michigan. Do I like Audi RS6? I do not know about an Audi RS6, but here's what I do know about Audi. Audi Foxes are cool cars. I had an 84 Audi 4000S, and I think it was a 1.8, and it had a boatload of miles on it, and it was chocolate brown metallic, and it was just a two-wheel drive. It wasn't a Quattro or anything like that. It had power windows, and it was actually had very comfortable seats, and other than being an old worn-out car, it was a great car. That was the only Audi I ever had. An Audi Quattro, like a Scirocco, like the all-wheel drive hatchback, that'd be fun, like an 84 or an 85. Mortal Kombat, that was a lot of fun. There's a brown a brown Audi parked in my spot. The brown Audi came around out of almost desperation. I was working night shift. I'm 19, And at the time, I had a really nice, it was a nice car. It was a 84 Dodge Shadow, two-door. And it was a had a 2.2 in it. Yeah, 2.2 automatic, non-turbo, non-overdrive. It was white, red pinstripe, red interior. And the mains hammered in it something fierce the whole time I owned it. But uh, actually, it was a pretty decent car. And then I'm leaving work one morning. Leaving work one morning, and I'm headed out, and I'm over by this small town. There's a little grass strip airport, and I'm right by the airport. And a guy pulls out of a business, and he stops. Okay, and then he goes again. He didn't see me, and it's almost dawn, so it's still really dark, but starting to get light. And I'm driving that Shadow. He's driving like a 1990 Ford Tempo in burgundy. And that stupid idiot pulled right out in front of me, and I had nowhere to go. This is the thoroughfare that we're on is a main artery into this rather large town. So there's just a steady stream of oncoming traffic. I had nowhere to go, and I took him out. Boom. So I wrecked. So the guy, I get out of my car. The car picks up and sets down. That's how hard I hit the Tempo with my Shadow. All I'm concerned about is that guy. I run over to the other side of my car, up to the driver's window, and the mechanical seatbelt, he's all slumped over in it. And I'm yelling at him, and it's like he's waking up from a dream. What happened? And I'm like, you didn't see me, bud. So anyways, out of my mini tort, I got $500, and I needed a car like yesterday. And I found a guy on the lake local to me, had that brown Audi for $500, and I could drive it home today. And I said, sold. I don't care what it was. I would have bought it for $500 and drove it home. Yeah. And that was the beginning of me actually having to figure out problems and everything. That car was a miserable wreck. It was high mileage. I bought it with 245,000 miles on it. And everything went wrong at the same time. The alternator died, and I was limping it around by just charging up the battery and not running anything electric if I didn't have to. And then the starter went out. So now I've got to push start a car and keep it. Thank God it was a manual. And then, so it ended up being that I had both the alternator and the starter off, and I had no starter on the car and push starting it to drive. Yeah, I drove that thing because the belt, it had electric fans. So I drove the car with a charged battery. I dropped off the starter and the alternator to the rebuilder and had no way to go pick it up when it was ready. And I ended up making sure that the fan would still turn on. And then I just charged up a battery, push started my Audi, and I drove it 4 miles up to Jim's place. He was our rebuilder, and he always wants to chat. For the first time ever, I'm like, hi, Jim, I don't have time. Thank you. Here's some money. Have a great time. I'm sorry I got to go because I didn't know how much battery power I had, and I barely made it home to where I finally put everything on. Yeah. Good times. And I had to figure this all out at 19 and broke. Got really good at changing the alternator on a Audi. Well, thank you, Cloud Girl. BMWs. I don't care for BMW cars, but I like me a BMW motorcycle. Longest ownership, most miles covered, BMW motorcycle. It's nothing to find one of those with a gazillion miles on them. A friend of mine went to a bike night, and he's got I forget his model of BMW, and he's going to park at the bike night, and he sees his bike, year, make, model, color, same bike. Of course, I'm going to park next to it. So he parks next to it, and he ends up running into the guy that owns it. And he looks at the odometer on the bike. His has 130,000. His has 30,000. So he talks to the guy. He goes, "Can I ride your bike?" And he goes, "Why?" And he goes, "You have 100,000 more miles on it. I want to see what it rides like." "Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, sure, go ahead." He says he took it out for a ride. Couldn't tell a difference. It was the same bike. Isn't that nuts? 100,000 miles difference. Audie Murphy. Yeah, I heard Audie Murphy. Yeah. I'm 35 years old. Show me something laying around, and should I know what it is? Should you know what it is? All right. All right. What this? It's iron. It's heavy. It's bent. This is not a 10 millimeter. This is not a 10 millimeter socket. No. Yeah, that's not a 10 millimeter socket, guys. What is it? It's been smushed. Like somebody's really been wailing on it. Pow, pow, pow. A punch. I believe the operating term for this would be a ladyfinger. If I'm not mistaken, this is a ladyfinger. But I could be wrong. Thumb finder? Yeah. Ah, there it is. An owl, a big one if it is. Tracker keeper? Oh, yeah, tracker keeper. Am I on drugs? No, I am the drug. Take me. Actually, someone actually asked John Force at an NHRA event, it's like, "Are you on drugs?" And he goes, "No. Could you imagine though?" Ladyfinger is a cookie. Okay. Some of the guys I used to work with would call these things ladyfingers for whatever reason. So everyone's got different operating terms for different things. Just like the same drink can be known by a dozen names. You go to a bar and say, "I want this drink," and they go, "What?" And you go, "Oh, it's this and this and this." "Oh, that's this. Here you go." To be a center, a carrier stud. What's the purpose? I think it's just something for whatever, whether you're trying to line up a serious hole, like get two pieces of big steel together to put a bolt through, or I don't know. It's one of those curious things that I found at a yard sale for next to nothing. So, of course. And I'm like, I know that'll come in handy. I just want to know what on earth bent that thing. I want to know what they were chooching it on that bent it. Because it's of good weight. It's a large center punch for sure. No company markings on it either at all. Nothing. I cleaned this with 600 grit sandpaper. No tooling marks. Not even a letter. I just wonder if somebody just took a piece of scrap and repurposed it. Peter Griffin. And what splayed out the tip? Exactly. It hit. So, yeah, they were putting some. Ooh, good point. And what splayed out the tip? It might have got pressed. Aha. Danster has his Sherlock Holmes hat on. A clue. It's based on the color. It's a dropped stud, carrier stud that was dropped before hammering, instant cooling effect. Blacksmith made? No. I think it was cast because of the texture that it has. Then again, this thing could be older than dirt, and that could be just rust pitting. I don't know if it was specially made or they cut it off of a piece of machinery or what, but whatever it is, it's pretty damn skookum. I mean, it's got weight to it. Yeah, it very well could be. It's been struck a little bit. It's not that, it's only been used a little bit. Like, we're off hits. So either somebody knew what they were doing and they were using it, or it hardly got used. But that doesn't make sense because there's not a lot of mushrooming here. But boy, that tip sure took a beating. I think it got pressed. I think it got put in something and stressed. And that's what bent the tip and mushroomed the end. Foul, with one foul swoop. It's a Roman spearhead. It's just a tool, is all it is. It's just a tool. It's a big heavy piece of iron, and you can use it as a punch, or you could use it to line two things up before you put a bolt in it, or whatever. It's just a tool. It's whatever you need it to be. You'd be surprised some of those stupid things. Expecto Porphyrium. Something on the ground that Damien needs to identify. Okay, I'll be right back. What is this? Extra points if you can tell me what this does. It says Start-O-Scope Mark V. Very heavy. Hold it up so you can see the darn thing. Get close. Okay, it's heavy. I'm putting it down. Can it run Fortnite? Absolutely. It is a 1950s battery load tester. It's from mobile. It's from a mobile station, and it would have said mobile You can barely see it. It says mobile right there, but you can't hardly read it anymore. But it's a mobile Startoscope Mark V. I think this is the last of them because everything else is 4s and 3s that I've seen. The thing works awesome. It's not a dwell meter. It's just a battery tester. Like it can show you alternator charging, generator charging, load tester, charging volts for alternator or generator, and it's not pole specific, so you can hook it up anyway. It doesn't matter. The load tester, you should hear this thing kick in. It goes clunk, and it also the probe here on the side. I can pop the tops off, and Dan was right, and I can test cells. Stick these actually in the cell. And then it'll show up over here. There's an alphabet, and it'll actually show you the health of every cell in the battery. And I can't remember what that stuff is that I've got. I think it might be cadmium. I've got some battery enhancer or booster or reviver stuff. I have a little bit of it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I think it's cadmium. Had an alternator putting out AC. Thanks, Mama. Yeah, rectified the problem. Yeah, that thing is heavy as snot. What else? Okay, be right back. What else? Aha! All right. They're heavy. One with, one without. There's the back side. They mount. So, yes, it's a headlight. Yes, that's a glass lens. First to tell me what car and what year. Just tell me the car. It doesn't matter the year. No. No, it is not Ford. Okay, these are delicate. I got to put them back. One more look. All right, I'm going to put them back. So, be right back. Okay, it is back in its home resting place. Oh, Duesenberg. Oh, man. Okay, Denzo, I only wish I had something from a Duesenberg. That would be cool. 1915 Model A, no. Dodge truck, no. Hudson, no. Plymouth, no. What up, Doug? No. Hi, mofo. Just kidding. Stick a meter in it. 1924 car, Model T. Car, yes. Model T, no. 1924, I think you're in the right ballpark, Danster. All right. Oakland, no. I wish. Oakland cars that were made in Canada came with maple trim and a maple covered steering wheel, maple wood steering wheel. Oakland is the predecessor to Pontiac. There were Duesenbergs in my hometown, where Leo Gaypart found his classic car dealer. The only Duesenberg, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 4 Duesenbergs at the Gilmore. One is a white speedster, and it is just so awesome. The hinges on it are chrome or nickel. They got to be nickel plated, and that car. So they're all beautiful. I love Duesenbergs. So nobody has guessed what that headlight was. Dan's got the year. What brand of car? White? Oh, no, it's not white. Okay, I understand now. No, it's not white. I wish it was a white. I'd love a white steam car. REO. No. Ransom E. Olds. Oldsmobile. No. Olds. No. Can you show the headlight? All right, I'll be right back with it. There's one with lens, glass. Here's one without. And yes, it's full of dirt. All right, one more look. I'm going to put them away. Okay. Marmon, no. Peterbilt, no. I wish it was a Peterbilt. I love Peterbilts. Chrysler, no. Industrial truck lights, Dodge, no. Cataract, no. Buick, no. Autocar lights, no, they're off in Oshkosh. No, they're not. Guys, you're thinking too exotic. More bread and butter. More working man. Is it a motorcycle? No. Car. Magic, what's happening? GMC. It's a Danster's got it. It's a Chevrolet. It's like a 1920-something Chevrolet. It says cast. I made sure not to show it to you, but cast in the bottom of it, it says Twilight Chevrolet. The refractors on that thing are cool as crap. I want to order one off of eBay, but I'm afraid it won't. I'd be heartbroken to pay all the money for it and not make it here because of shipping. But I just might have to get the other headlight for that. Before T3, yes, before T3. Man, those are cool to find. Every so often you'll find a T3. People got those babies squirreled away. People pull them out of cars. I've seen a guy walk away with all sorts. Chevy 1-ton, maybe. Old street rodder. I know he's in his late 80s. I seen him driving his street rod still, and he's in his late 80s. So good to see the old guy. He's got a set of 18-inch headlights. They're huge. They're the biggest I've ever seen, and they have glass lenses on them, and they're heavy as frig. And you go into his basement, and they're on top of the stair. The header thing sits on a shelf, and you're like, whoa. He goes, they turn on, and he flips on a switch, and they light up, and those things are cool. Those things are way cool. He's got gas pump stuff. He's got a strobe light from like a 1960 cop car that he'll turn on in his basement. I turn the lights off and turn that thing on. He's a crazy old dude. He's great. Grease Spot, what's happening? Bye, Ma. Sorry if I missed you. What music do I like? I like rock. I like country. I like all sorts of stuff. I like Motown. I like oldies. I like blues music. Yeah, old rock, old country. That's basically what my record collection is. Really like the band Traffic, Rush, ZZ Top, AC/DC, early AC/DC, Bon Scott AC/DC. But it's all good, but Bon Scott's best. Yeah. Every so often you hear a tune that's all right, though. The Soup God is here. Hello, Soup God. One of my favorite bands is the Blues Brothers. And makes you really, through them, you start to really appreciate like Sam and Dave. Opinion on country? I like country music. I like good country music. Though I want to hear about my dog died, my truck broke, and my lady left, and I just got unemployed, and no, I like good old country music, like Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, Hank Snow. Are the headlights from a rat rod? No, the headlights were taken directly off of the Chevy. So it was ratty in a field. Can't play music. Unfortunately, cannot play music. Heck, we can get dinged for just singing enough of something. Charlie Pride, Tom T. Hall, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Listen to little Conway Twitty. That way all the ladies will be all turned on for the rest of the evening. Glenn Campbell. Guitar playing fool. I watched a video with Glenn Campbell in it just yesterday, and it was Roy Clark and he's playing like the devil on a big bodied guitar, like a big Gretsch. And Glenn Campbell is standing behind him, and while Roy Clark is feverishly playing the center of the guitar, Glenn Campbell reaches around Roy Clark, is standing up on his left side like this. He can't even see what he's doing, and he's playing the same guitar, and they're not interfering with each other. It was amazing. Can you play when she says baby? Whoa. All right. Yeah, country's greatest guitar players. There are some really good guitar players, though. Jerry Reed is Kendall, what's happening? Jerry Reed is a hell of a guitar player. He was so poor they couldn't afford guitar picks, so he used nickels as guitar picks when he was young. Just turn on some music. I can't do it's so boring. Well, thanks. Definitely blues. Roy Nichols, who played for Haggard. Oh, yeah. I heard a story about Merle Haggard where he walked out on stage and because this guy was a roadie and he toured with Merle Haggard and George Jones. He was more attached to George Jones. And he said that one night he comes out, he's opening, and he comes out with a half gallon of George Dickel whiskey in one hand and a guitar in the other. And there's a stool waiting for him at the mic. He sits down and he says, "Hi, everybody. I'm here for this much." And he holds up that half gallon of George Dickel. He says, "When this is gone, so am I." And he opened up that half gallon of George Dickel and he drank half of it before he played a note. And then he started to play because he liked to play drunk. Oh, Chet Atkins and Mark Knopfler together. Yes. Bruce. Yes. Yeah. Chet Atkins was yeah. And how Mark Knopfler does that weird thing because these two fingers sit like a pedestal on the guitar. So he's doing all of his work with his thumb, first finger, and middle finger. He never uses these two fingers. Cheers. Is it the Cheers theme song? Sometimes you want to go. We got the hearts a going. Take care of my empty. Be right back. Making your way through the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. There you go, Dan. What is it now? It is KMFDM power. I know it. Right off the top of my head. Yep. German industrial music. That's what you're after. Chug some water. Okay. Go for it, Danster. Danster. See you, Duz. Nice talking with you. Okay. It is it's going to be Little Richard, Good Golly, Miss Molly. Oh, Ruby Red? Okay, squirt or grapefruit juice? Grapefruit juice is good. A friend of mine had a route going from Texas to Michigan, and he'd bring me some awesome ruby red grapefruits from Texas. And man, I'd eat those things like oranges. They were sweet. They actually were sweet. They were amazing. And then all of a sudden, he stopped going to Texas to Michigan all the time and started going to Florida. And I'm like, oh man, can't get grapefruits. He goes, don't worry, man. I can get you grapefruits in Florida. Oh, okay. And he'd bring up grapefruit, and the ruby reds from Florida. Nope. Nope. Not like them Texas ones. Them Texas ones are good. Mr. Beast, you are not the first person to say that. I love grapefruit juice. My ma lives in Florida. Well, you can get it fresh squeezed. What is it now? What is it now? It is, we'll say, Sam and Dave, hold on, I'm coming. I'm going to go get some water. Be right back. Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs. Now, the funny thing is about that song is that was just a jam. That's all that was, just some guys goofing around. They thought it was terrible. They thought it was absolutely terrible. And they said, making fun of it, it's so terrible they should call it Green Onions because nobody's going to like it. And Steve Cropper is in on that, and a bunch of other studio musicians. And yeah, that's actually a little jam, I think. And yeah, as always, Steve Cropper is just awesome on the guitar. And he looks like a freaking lion, doesn't he? With the with the beard and everything. Grapefruit in it. Yeah. I love squirt soda. I do too. My fly's down. No, it's not. Colonel Cropper and Duck Dunn. That's right. Guitar Murphy, Mr. Fabulous. Bones Malone. Blue Lou Marini. The Shiv. The Shiv, who is Paul Schaefer, who didn't get to be in the movie. Yep, the Shiv. Yep. Okay, gonna get some water. Be right back. Guess what song I got stuck in my head? Booker T and the MGs, Green Onions. Oh yeah, Briefcase Full of Blues is a great Blues Brothers album. Rubber Biscuit. It is, and those guys thought it was the most throwaway of songs. They thought it was dumb. They thought it was just like Steam. I think it was Steam that did the Na 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 Goodbye, and they thought that was such a stupid song that they didn't even want their actual names on it, so they made up a band name of Steam. And yeah, it ended up being, yeah, a hit. It's Steve Cropper makes it, well, they all make the jam, but Steve Cropper for sure. Oh, oh yeah, Edgar Winter, Smokey Robinson. Don't know. There is a radio show that I listen to. They've got um Smokey Robinson, and he's saying like Merry Christmas, and then he he mispronounces Hanukkah something phenomenally wrong. He called it Chanukah. Happy Chanukah. Happy salmon? Happy Chanukah? What? You know, I've been to Detroit many times and I've never been past the Motown building, Hitsville, USA. Bert, what's going on? I am an American. Ah, happy Mopar Monday to you, Mr. 6% Recycled. Ooh, yeah. Joe Satriani is a badass guitarist. Pretty cool that he's now running around with Sammy Hagar and on a lot of his projects. And because first time I actually heard Sammy and Joe Satriani together was on the album Chicken Foot, which I actually have on vinyl. It was the last new record I ever bought, and that's actually pretty cool. The record album is got heat sensitive ink, so if you hang on to it long enough, you'll warm it up. There's pictures on the inside underneath all of that. You got to warm it up. It's really neat. Oh, Dino did a little shopping. What'd you bring us, Dean? Dean the Machine. There's a guy that hangs with Scott from Cold War Motors. His name is Dean, and they always he has his own private car collection that's huge, and he always tends to buy the same cars. He likes like Lincoln like Mark IVs and like big LTDs and stuff like that. So what I was hoping is if they could have those guys like to do races sometimes, and I was wondering if they could do a spec race. Like everyone goes and gets a 77 four-door LTD. Same year, make, model, engine, everything. Same car. Let's say for four people. And then you race. I think it'd be hilarious. We got a whoa. Jimmy Dean was a good musician, and he makes good sausage. Jimmy Dean was um, Jimmy Dean was in a James Bond movie, and I know that he owned this big building, and it was called the White House, Whyte, and he's supposed to be like Willard White or something like that. And then he's kidnapped, and then the bad guys are sitting at his desk calling all the shots because nobody sees him. He just operates through his desk that nobody goes to, anyways. So they're impersonating him. So yeah, Jimmy Dean is in a James Bond movie. You could see it on the silver screen. Roscoe P. Coltrane. Gee, 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 gee. Flash, me and old Flash. I scratched my car. Roscoe and Enos. We had a guy in my last job. His name was Scott, and someone kept when they write out his name, they just write Scooter, and then somebody kept taking the S away, so it just said Cooter. So I started calling him Cooter in the office, and then I'm like, and I make sure to say owner and proprietor of the Hazard County Garage, Cooter Davenport. So that way there was no mistaking that I was trying to make some reference at work. One of the best Kiwis below the 45th. Whoa. So that's where the best Kiwis grow. It's below the 45th. Who knew? Who knew? Bow, 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 bow. And driver of the dead side tow truck. That's right. Well, there was many. See, that's the thing is a lot of vehicles were in rotation for that show, and it's get good. Because Cooter's pickup truck changed like 3 or 4 times. And if you really want to, oh yes, that was just, you beat me to it, Danster. That was exactly what I was going to say. Pay close attention to Uncle Jesse's truck. The only thing that stays the same is it's white and it's a Ford. It can be an F-150, F-250, F-350. It can be a step side, a step side. It's Uncle Jesse's truck changes a lot. Daisy had 2 Roadrunners, and I found out why. John Wilburn had one of the technical advisors, the guys that actually turning the wrenches for Warner Brothers at that time. And I got to ask, why did Daisy have 2 Roadrunners that were 2 different cars painted the same way? Because she first had a 71, 72, and then she had a 73, 74. Now, to the untrained eye, no one would ever know. But the astute will say, wait a minute, those are different cars. And come to find out, the 71, 72 was such a pile of crap that they had a hell of a time keeping it going, and they finally just aborted mission, bought a next generation, painted it the same scheme, and used it. So, why mustache? Why not mustache? That way I use a little push broom across my food. It keeps it clean. And besides, all the ladies love mustache rides. Mustache rides free. The stripes were wrong for one of them, wasn't it? No. The stripes are the same. When they cut it off, nah, I like it. You cut yours off. So when Daisy got her Jeep, the Duke boys had Daisy's car and they were evading someone and they pushed it off of a cliff. And so they literally let the car go off of a cliff and it falls to its doom. And the car that they wrecked was the 71, 72 that you see in the video going down and hitting against the cliff and just getting bashed up. It's like, the tongue gets used with the hair. Yes, it does. So it sounds to me like the motor pool of Warner Brothers was just kind of whatever they could get their hands on. Because I know towards the end of making the Dukes of Hazzard, they still had to bring in cars. They needed that body style of car to the point where they're just out in the wild and they're putting business cards underneath wipers. Hey, do you want to sell your car? Call this number. And my Hollywood dream was the motor pool. Oh, yeah. A friend of mine, he restores cars privately. It's his business. And he doesn't do work for anyone else. He works for himself. And he'll get in a project and then he'll turn around and sell it. And he went down to, his goal was always to sell a car at Barrett-Jackson. He had never done it. A lot of people have done it. And he brought a 68 SS 396. I could have the year wrong, but it was an SS 396 El Camino. It was white with a red stripe. And it was really nice. 4-speed car sitting on torque thrust wheels. And he took that all the way to Scottsdale and he sold it. He didn't get it on TV or anything. So Now he's in Scottsdale sitting at the bar and he's looking Craigslist. He's looking Marketplace. He's got a newspaper. He's looking at the classifieds. And the guy sitting next to him at the bar, he's like, "What are you looking for?" He goes, "Well, look, I got a pocket full of cash. I have an empty trailer and I'm from Michigan." So he goes, "I want to bring something home." And the guy goes, "Will you drive to Southern California?" He goes, I made it this far. What's Southern California?" He goes, "All right, cool. Here, call this guy. He'll have what you want." "Thanks, man." Shook his hand, bought him a beer, calls the guy. He's like, "Yeah, sure. Come on out. Here's my address." All right. So he goes out. The guy's responsible for motor pool for, he owns the cars though, but he is in touch. They say, "We need cars." There you go. And he walks into this building and everything's separated by decade. And he's like, it's just huge. He says, "This is a big warehouse. There's a bunch of cars to the right, bunch of cars to the left, and a big open aisle down the middle." And the guy says, "Everything on the left is not for sale, or is for sale. Everything on the right is not. You're welcome to look at whatever you want to your heart's content. You can stay here for almost the whole day if you'd like. Looking at stuff, I'm fine with that. But only the stuff over here is for sale." And he goes through and he finds all sorts of nice stuff. And he finds a 64 Impala 409 car with a blown engine. He talks to the guy, and the guy says, "Oh, I bought this car in 1980 from some kids. And it was like a kid's hot rod. It had like, there's a rabbit crossing my driveway. Look." Can you see him? I've never had that happen before. Please tell me you've seen that. That's nuts. He's just sitting there too. Yeah, Dodge Ram. That's cool. He's still chilling there, guys. Oh, no, now he's headed back towards my truck. That's crazy. I've never seen a rabbit on this property. I've lived here for house and I forgot it. Rabbits are very rare in Romania. Wow. Rabbits are delicious. Oh, ram, very rare in Romania. Yes. Okay, I understand now. Yep. Probably in Romania, you've probably got like Italian cars and German cars and like Skoda. Hello. Most of the cars are manual. Yes. Back in the heyday, they used to be. Yeah, Renaults, Peugeots, Ford, German and Japanese. Okay. So of course, Mercedes, Volkswagens, yeah, Audis, BMWs, Japanese. Good old Toyota. Can't go wrong with Toyota. What a nice, do you see a badge? Mitsubishi Lancer, that's fun. Opels are General Motors. Yeah. There used to be Opels here, and there was an Opel. What was the one that looked like the little Corvette? Opel GT. It looked like a mini Corvette. And then to flip the headlights on, you had to reach underneath the dash and roll a lever over, and the headlight flipped up as it rolled to the left or the right to stand up. The headlight, it was actually cool. Yep, the GT. And the Cadet, yes, that was a four-door. Now they are Peugeots. Okay. My favorite French cars are, not that I want to own one because they look like a lot of work. But Citroen. Citroens are pretty cool. Like a DS. SMs are they've got an allure to them, but yeah. I'd still rather have a Mercedes. Something in a W123 body. GM sold Opel to Citroen. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, GM had held Opel for Opel for a long, long time. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Air-cooled 911 if I had to drive German. Be a pretty fun German car. A lot of those air cools, especially the Volkswagen air cools, that's you drive those things like you drive a Detroit diesel. You bonk your head. Do you know Dacia? No, I do not know Dacia. Which way to Mulholland? King of the Mountain? No, not King of the Mountain. Charlie Sheen, yeah, King of the Mountain. They race in Mulholland. Yeah. Take a Sandero. Oh, I've heard of it. Well, Justin, you went. I don't think I've ever even seen a Dacia. Logan Dacia. Okay. So it's a brand. I see. There's actually a person behind it. Oh, California Kid is Martin Sheen. King of the Mountain was some other guy. Dan Haggerty and some others. What is the one with Charlie Sheen and the Porsches? They're stealing Porsches and scrubbing the VINs and then selling them as legit cars. I do know of Daihatsu. My friend has a Daihatsu Rocky, the only one I've ever seen. And another friend of ours bought it, great running vehicle with 45,000 miles, and he cut the body off of it. Actually, 6% knows this guy. It was Alex. He cut the body off of a Daihatsu Rocky and then was going to put a fiberglass Beetle body on it. And then he ran out of gumption and he ended up selling it to a friend of ours who put a roll cage on it and made a little off-road toy with it. And that thing is actually a awesome little unit. Rear counter boxes in Europe. Yeah, I've never been to Europe. I want to go. I definitely want to go. I want to drive fast on the Autobahn. A guy I knew, he's like, oh man, I would take my car up to 190 every day going to and from work on the Autobahn. I'm like, 190? Yeah. Holy crap. Well, I know why they were common, probably because they were cheap. But what a great running little machine. It was also a low mileage one that Alex had cut up. That's so funny. I had never seen one. I'd never heard of one. I had never seen one. The up in Grand Rapids, there was Dan Pfeiffer Lincoln Mercury, and he was the prominent Lincoln dealer. And they also dealt in Daihatsu, but they sold those little Daihatsu Superjet mini trucks, if you know what I'm talking about. The ones that got the oversized golf cart tires on them and the little fold down bed. It's a little like quarter ton utility truck, like two grown men in there. They're cab forward. They're cute little things. I remember those, but I don't ever actually remember Daihatsu like street going cars till I seen that Daihatsu Rocky, and it blew my socks off. Lincoln or Cadillac? What do I prefer? Cadillac. What era Cadillac? 1960, 1959, 1958. Real cars. I want a car that has a steering wheel on it that's 8 feet long. And I'm driving this big old thing down the road. And then, oh, I don't like what's on the radio. I grab the wheel and I reach over and I grab that radio dial, change the radio station, go back to driving my big old, Eldorado, yes. Eldorado, no, Eldorado, like a 59 Eldorado with the fins. Oh, yeah. Burgundy, with the burgundy and blue and white plaid insert interior. The 59 will have it'll have the dimmer switch torpedo thing on the head on the dash for auto high beam dimming, and it have Cadillac wire wheels and wide white walls. Looking good. Red interior, nice. If it was a Coupe de Ville, then it would be like a triple white 60 Coupe de Ville. That would be just what the doctor ordered. Once again on Cadillac wires. Cadillac wires, I think they were GM made or they were Kesley Hayes, one of the two. I believe they were in-house GM made. Speaking of GM made, whether you like them or not, the Quadrajet. A guy mentioned this, and he's right. All those years of Quadrajets, all those millions of Quadrajets that are out there, were made in one factory in like New York, and by a bunch of ladies. They built some of the best, argumentatively, some of the best carburetors ever. Yeah, worked for Rochester Products. Some gypsies own those cars here. 71 Coupe de Ville. Well, just like the warriors of the 21st century scout vehicle. Remember the Cadillac that Immortan Joe had in the Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road? That was pretty cool. How they widened one of the bodies and put another one on top of it, so I had like the double windshield thing going on. That was actually pretty cool. Come out and play. BMW or Mercedes? Mercedes. Okay, but I will tell you this. I don't care for BMW cars, but I love BMW motorcycles. But definitely Mercedes, especially diesel Mercedes. Mercedes W123 platform is one of the best. It's like 78 through like 83 or 84. And those things just go and go and go. I had a Mercedes 4 cylinders. They're okay. The 5 cylinders, non-turbocharged, like the OM something. Those aren't so great either. But when they turbocharged it, wow, what a difference! It's like turning on a light switch. It is amazing when that engine comes under boost. Rolls-Royce or Bentley? Rolls. It'd be a Rolls. Absolutely Rolls. Daihatsu Hijet. Yep. Yeah, that is small. What about Audi? I had an Audi. I had an 84 4000S. 4-speed, 1.8 engine. Yes, 1.8 engine, 5-speed. Chocolate brown metallic. Very comfortable car. Very comfortable seats. That was the only Audi I had. I had a lot of Volkswagens over the years, but that was the only Audi I ever had. And things were a lot different. Like actually, when I started working, because I first cut my teeth with the Audi and started to get the hang of this German car thing, and then I started buying Volkswagens, and then wait a minute, the engine sits the other way. I heard of Audi, no heard of Hirsch. Oh, yeah, Horsch, DKW, Audi, Horsch, DKW, and I can't think of the other one. There's the 4 companies that come together to make Auto Union, later Audi. Wanderer, that's it. That's it, Wanderer. All right, Dean for the assist. Thank you, sir. How am I doing though, Dino? Not bad. Car of the people. Yes. Yeah. Volkswagen. Yeah. Car, the people's car. Car of the people. Yes. In America in the 90s, they had an ad campaign called Fahrvergnügen. And Fahrvergnügen basically is like driving is fun, driving is pleasurable. I like to drive. Slugbug. Grow up about no man's land. Alfa Romeo. I've never seen, very rarely do you see Alfa Romeo here. I've only seen one Alfa Romeo, and it was a car. It was like a 1990 4-door Alfa Romeo car. Made me think of a Volkswagen Jetta. 500 horse V6 by Ferrari. Wow. Yeah, pretty close, Fahrvergnügen. I'm not surprised. It's probably a big bore V6 too, though. It's probably like it was really interesting if you're into engines like I am. Look up the GMC V6 line, and they had some V6s that were out of this world. And they had one that was 305 cubic inch V6, and they had a 351, and then they actually made them in, I think they were all gasoline, but they made them in insane displacements. Like one was 650 cubic inches, and another one was like 745 cubic inches, and one was almost 800 cubic inches. V6. And they were cool, the engine series, The spark plugs were on the intake side of the head, not on the bottom. And then they took those at top end from that engine series, and GMC also made a V12. And no, it is not two 6 blocks married. It is casted as a V12 block, but it comes with 2 sets of cylinder heads, 2 intake manifolds, 2 sets of exhaust manifolds. It has 1 distributor that's responsible. No, it has 2 distributors, 1 for each bank to run each bank. And it's nuts. And that thing's red line is like 2,700 RPM. But could you imagine the torque it had to have made? Now, Twin 6 is actually Packard. Packard had the Twin 6, which is a 12. Packard actually saved money going from making inline 6 engines to making the Twin 6, because they were able to leave everything at a standard angle, pull in the block, and then they were able to machine the left side of the block. And when they were done, they could rotate the tool and then go do the right side of the block and not have to move anything other than rotate the table. Do I ride a motorcycle? Yes, I do. Want to see it? It's right there in the shop. I rode it to work today. One of my hobbies is motorcycles. I have 3. Yeah, I ride a motorcycle. I rode a motorcycle today. I'll ride a motorcycle tomorrow. It's supposed to rain Wednesday. Depending on when it's raining, I might ride on Wednesday. I love my bike. Don't be scared, but be prepared. If you want to ride a motorcycle, do enjoy, but you got to be really careful because no one else is paying attention. So you've got to pay extra attention. Do yourself a favor, honeypot. Go find a motorcycle driver's ed. Just pay the long dollar and do it. Buy the ticket, take the ride. My first vehicle, believe it or not, was not a car, but a motorcycle. My first ride was a motorcycle. And after I took driver's ed, my mom put me in a motorcycle driver's ed. And you learn a lot of great skills there. It's well worth the time. And so start off on the right foot. And then just be careful and pay attention because no one else is. And you should be fine. You're welcome. Lamborghini is an Audi? Oh, yeah. Lamborghini is an Audi. Does Audi Group own the Lamborghini brand? I wouldn't be surprised. Volkswagen owns Bugatti with that W16. What a cool engine. Okay, that makes sense. Honeypot anytime. Yeah, I love riding my motorcycle. As a matter of fact, and Bentley, I'm not surprised. As a matter of fact, I'm going on a big motorcycle ride next Saturday for 300 subscribers, which I'm almost to 400 now, but I promised it, so I'm going to deliver with it. When I cross over 300 subscribers, I was going to go for a nice long ride up Lake Michigan shoreline. I live in Michigan, and I live very close to Lake Michigan shore, about half an hour away. So I'm going to go down to South Haven, which is south of me, and then we're going to start in South Haven, and then I'm going to show you the beach there, and we're going to go and do 3 stops as we go north up the shore, the west shore of Lake Michigan here in the great state of Michigan. So it's going to be fun. Germans love it. Skoda, yes. Fox Dude, hey, what's happening? I used to work with a bunch of Bosnian guys years and years ago, and they were talking about their cars. And the one guy said he lived in an it's all mountaintop in Bosnia, but where Fikret lived, he was out in the middle of nowhere and it was really hilly. And he said, Germany, welcome. I don't even know how to say that. Can you say, I don't understand? Kim, hello. So he lived in a very mountainous part. I remember where I was. A very mountainous part of Bosnia. And I said, what was your last car? He says, I had a Skoda. He says it was a flat 8-cylinder diesel air cooled. And he said it was ungodly slow. I go, no turbo? No turbo, naturally aspirated. I'm like, oh my God, that was terrible. He goes, pull a grade in that. He says, sometimes you could get out and walk faster. I would totally own a Lamborghini tractor just to own it because it says Lamborghini. Yeah. I'm going to take out I was driving my Lamborghini today. Can you speak in a British accent? Yeah, but it would sound terrible. Why? Down in Constonbury, here in the Thames. Yeah, it's really neat that Lamborghini started making tractors long before he made cars. Actually, the coolest things that I've seen that's part tractor and part truck is the county that I live in now. They have a really enormous state game area, and the state game area has their own fleet of Unimogs. And oh my God, I am drawn like a moth to a flame to those things. Those things are so cool. The engine for your boat, Lamborghini? No, the engine for my boat will be a Chrysler Hemi. 2 Chrysler Hemis, Chrysler Marine Hemis from the 50s. They say Chrysler Marine on the tappet covers. Yeah, in blue. Actually, I probably wouldn't own a boat. I don't buy boats and I don't buy snowmobiles anymore. One of them reverse rotation, of course, Danster. Yep. As a matter of fact, there's a guy. Do I go fishing? I'll go out sometimes. I don't live too far away from a lake. I'll go down, throw a hook in the water every once in a while, and just fish off the dock, catch enough to make dinner. Yeah, I enjoy fishing sometimes. I had a Lamborghini down there. It was a grass mower. The operator used to do a line of grass in his Lamborghini before 8 a.m. Oh, that is just too good, Danster. Well done, well done, well done, well done, well done. Yeah, I actually really enjoy perch fishing. I think perch are beautiful fish, and they're also very, very tasty. Ah, very tasty. Oh, okay. Movie quote. Guess the movie. Ah, red snapper. Very tasty. Now, let's see if you can spin the wheel of fish. Be right back. Oh. You think so, huh? Oh, what do you call a chicken coop with 4 doors? A chicken sedan. Ah, ah, ah. Who should I dispose? No, don't do that to the buff man. Buff man's here? No, Kim's here. Oh, Buff is here. Buff man. We got Buff and Kim. Nice. Oh boy. All right. We have a bat in the shop. Okay. No, 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 no. Okay, I gotta let the bat out. Thought I heard him flying around in the garage. Hear him? Chirp, chirp. Where you at, you little stinker? All right. So back to the shop. I'm chasing a bat, y'all. Yeah. I think he got out. This ain't the cages. I don't think that was 40 miles an hour. Some people motate down this stretch of road, and I don't know why. Sure thing, Buster. Lifted truck, yes. It is white. But it didn't have all the chicken lights all over it. Help us, Batman. I think he's out. Boy, Lady Dougster, she don't like bats. She don't like bats at all. And she's the other night, Saturday night, I stayed up late because we had a power outage, and I just was staying up. It was clear out. The moon was out. I could walk around the whole yard and see perfectly what I was doing by the moonlight. It was really cool. I'm sitting at my picnic table, just enjoying the evening, listening to everyone's generators run, and then the bats that actually are in the house actually started to come home. It was like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to go in the house. Hope you're doing well, though, Buster. Well, that was interesting. We seen Buff and Kim, you missed it earlier. We had a rabbit in the driveway. The first rabbit I've ever seen on my property. I have a whole half acre, so it's not like I have vast amounts of land. But still, I've lived here over 6 years, and I've never seen a rabbit on the property until today. And he was standing in front of the door here. He's like, "Hey, I'm here." I actually got up, and people who are here seen it. I actually got up and turned the camera around and showed everyone the rabbit. The cat didn't even acknowledge it. I don't know what my cat would do. I don't know if my cat would get scared and run off, or if he'd be like, "Bring it on, Great White Hunter." There are a lot of times he's Great White Hunter. I think he'd be like up for the challenge. Nope, don't see an orange. Okay, now that I think Mr. Bat has exited stage left, give me a second. I'm going to close the front and rear doors of the breezeway. Be right back. Okay, lame joke time. Why did the turtle cross the road? To get to the Shell station. Not polite. Julius Marlowe wouldn't approve. Looking for stardom. So he's headed to Tiger Stadium now. Tiger Stadium, Michigan and Trumbull, the corner. There was guys that's down in Corktown, made famous for making gaskets. That's why it's called Corktown. And there was a facility that made leaf springs for cars right across the street from the stadium. And guys would find any window they could to watch a little baseball during their shift. Do you blame them? They ripped down Tiger Stadium. It's so sad. It's just a baseball diamond on the corner. It's just a little lot. It's sad. I do love Shell. Well, Shell Rotella runs my fleet. My lady's like, that's diesel oil, right? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, it's not going to hurt our gas cars using diesel oil. And I said, no. I said, honey, I've used it in everything. shell of his present self. Aha! No shell. A friend of mine actually has a really nasty 68 Camaro that it makes an enormous amount of power. They took a turbo 400 transmission and they took first gear out of it and made it a 2-speed so it would hold up better to what he was trying to do with it. He drives it all over the place as like that turbo 400 as like a 2-speed. Smoke a cigar? I'm not a cigar kind of guy. Every once in a blue moon, but I don't have a cigar to smoke. I like orange sherbet, but I don't like ulcers. I don't wish that upon nobody. So what Roger does is all of his engines are premium fuel built to run on premium. So he goes around, and I don't know what his testing is, but he'll actually go around and get fuel samples all around the area for 93 pump, premium pump gas. And he always says that every time that he does the test, hands down, it's Shell. So Shell is good stuff, always has been. Daniel, what's happening? No, not the cigar kind of guy. Every so often. Glad you think so. Sherbert, how's that? I think sherbet is non-dairy. It's like ice cream. I think it's non-dairy. Decided to edit a video. I haven't had a new video in 172 days. Dutch, what's going on, man? Sorbet. Yes, sorbet. Is there milk in sherbet? Sorbet? Sherbet? My mom used to, I remember mom getting either the orange sherbet or the lime sherbet. Mainly the orange. They're both good, but I prefer the lime. Not that I really need anything sugary in my life, but I don't eat that stuff normally. It's gotten so bad that years ago I had to tell Lady Dougster we can no longer have like just a thing of ice cream in the freezer. I'm like, I just can't keep my hands off of it. So whenever we do ice cream, we end up going and getting a little pint of ice cream. And we both get our pint of ice cream and our flavor, and then when we're out of ice cream, that's it. There's no more. That's the best part. The R is optional. Okay. Good morning. Here it's the for a snail time in the 90s. Black cherry sherbet at Myers. It was discontinued rather quickly. I bet that would be pretty good. Coffee? No, just water. Just water. Not a coffee guy. I'm a Diet Pepsi guy. Oh, man. Golden Nugget. Williams identifies as coffee now. No, God. Evan Williams identifies as coffee. I'm just drinking coffee. Buff has a Mercury because he's crazy about a Mercury. Buff's going to drive his Mercury and cruise it up and down the road. The girl he loves, he stole her from a friend. He got lucky. Buff stole her back again. She heard he had a Mercury because he's crazy about a Mercury. Great story about booze and coffee. So, some friends of the family dated for a very long time, and then they finally went to like Bermuda or some destination and just got quietly married. And then they spent a week wherever they were. And every morning, her new husband would make her coffee and put Bailey's in it. And so all week long on their honeymoon, she's a school teacher, by the way. So this is even better. So she really likes the Baileys and the coffee together to the point where now they're back home and she's headed off to work and she makes herself a cup of coffee and she's like, what was that good stuff that, oh, Bailey's. And she just finds a bottle, puts a little in and goes to work. And then she does that 3 days in a row. And her husband, she left the bottle out next to the coffee maker and her husband's going, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I like the taste of the Baileys in the coffee, so I've been using that like creamer. And he's like, that's alcoholic, honey. Oh my God. She had no idea. Going to school with a spiked coffee. Good job. Runs really well for a driver, but it's not so hot as a drag racer. Hey, just as long as it gets across the stripe, that's all we care about. One of you guys owes the other one a Pepsi. Had many Mercuries, some front drive, some rear drive, one with a Chevy engine. Nice. What's happening? Jag? I've had 0 Mercuries. Never owned a Ford either. Pepsi's good stuff. But as our Mexican friend, Mexican Spec, tells me, he's like, you would not like Mexican Pepsi. He's like, there are better things in your life than Mexican Pepsi. Fueled up today and crunched the numbers, and I got 36. I want to say like 36.1, 36.2. Not bad. Last tank full was 33, so it must have been really rooting on it, in and out of the accelerator pump. Would you mix a Pepsi into? This is a valid question. 400 Ford in your Mercury Z7. Might as well just, if you're gonna go 400, might as well stuff a freaking 460 in it. Now we're talking torque. Buff will have like a FE with dual quads, dual quad 390. I think that now that Buff has the parts car, I think that he should find a V8 for that. I think he's got one for the Z7 and build just a nice cruiser V8. Doesn't have to be breakneck speed because I know that ain't Buff's style. But then take the 6-cylinder and stuff it in the parts car and make a drag car out of that. Call it the Cut and Buff. The FE fits the Fox platform really well. Single overhead cam 427. Woo! Now we're talking. Make a Bob Glidden tribute. Did Glidden drive one of those little? Did he have something, a funny car in that body style? Would be cool if it was. Yeah. No, guys, I was the oh, put the 6-cylinder in the Stewed. Hey, a Stewed that drives is better than a Stewed that don't. Sweet. Back at work, late incoming delivery. Boo! Unfinished. Hey, sometimes that's how it goes. And let me guess, you got to wait because they're going to be there. They're right around the corner. 3 hours later, they show up. I'm almost there. Daylight, not raining. This truck is magnificent. Are you in your W350? Oh, cattle truck. Oh, yeah. Incoming. Gotcha. That's how my dad got his truck driving start, hauling hogs and hauling cows in a bull rack. Lied his way into his first job. Got married. A week later, he started his new job, driving truck. And I was already on the way, and he lied his way into his first job. He knew enough to be dangerous. And so lied his way into his first job and got found out on the first day. And the old boy said, "You need a job, don't you?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I just got married and I got a kid on the way." And he goes, "Well, that's all right." And that old guy took dad under his wing and trained him up right in a day or two. Like all the basics to keep the old man happy. He goes, "Do these things and you won't have the old man up your butt." The grain drain your liver. Battle truck? Old grain trucks are pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Well, especially with me when I was a little kid, is I was around big rigs my entire life. And it just, yeah, I always wanted to drive the truck. Yeah. I worked at a steel shop, loading night shift, loading the steel haulers, and maybe me and another employee would race the tractors up and down the cul-de-sac. It might have happened. I mean, it is night shift after all. We had a black Peterbilt that an owner operator had. His name was Doug also, and he had the CB handle of Hollywood, and old Hollywood was a pretty boy trucker. He came to work like work all day. He's still spotlessly clean, and he looks like he just popped out of the shower. He's one of those guys that's like he's like repels dirt that or he doesn't do anything, but he was always perfect. That's about the only way I can describe this guy. And he always carried this briefcase. But his Peterbilt, his black Peterbilt was fast. At least in the at least in the eighth mile that we were running them. Couldn't even build a cross back then. They had a trailer. They had a young guy that didn't know what he was doing unloading trailer 8 years ago. And this is before I had started there. I had to deal with the aftermath of trailer 8. But this young kid was working the receiving bay at where we were at, and there was a 54,000 pound master coil of steel, thick steel plate, and um, the hooks that they use on the chain on the crane. All it is it looks like a letter L, and it kind of tips in at the top, and then you've got 2 of those in the chain, and then they hook in on the bottom of the ID of the coil, and then they hug it. And the guy was inexperienced, didn't know what he was doing, and he kept getting in and out of the throttle, in and out of the throttle, and he started to make this thing pendulum swing to the point where it swang so far that it just let one of those things loose, and it fell like 8 feet. It fell onto the deck. Thank God there was no other steel there, but it fell and smashed on the deck of the trailer right up where the dollies are, where you actually crank them down so the trailer can stand up on its own. It fell down there, and they still replaced everything and kept that thing in service. I drive my high-low up on 8 and get up near there, and the high-low would do this. It was that bad. It was like a pothole in that trailer. They finally retired it, but like Shell, Pet Strip, buzzed. I have made sure from now on that I'm buying all my gas at a top tier gas station because they have a better additive package in their fuel. So you're going to pay just the same amount for fuel basically. So might as well get the extra cleaners and stuff. And Speedway has the minimums, but the top tier stations like Mobile, Citgo, Shell being one of the best. Class A, T, H, N, C. Shell restrooms? You'll pass on a Shell restroom? We must be talking about 2 totally different Shell chains then, because the Shell stations around here, those things, like you could eat your lunch off of the floor. They're clean. Not saying you want to eat it, but you know what I mean. They are usually the better of the bathrooms. I've had up and ate a quarter ton of sherbet. Guts are much happier now. Ah, well, good. I hope you're feeling better. The Shell gas stations around there are quite awful. That's weird because the one over by me, the closest one to me, is really good. Yeah, I've been to a bathroom where you just open the door and you look in, you're like, no, 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 I'll wait. Actually, where Dutch lives and where I live is like it's a long minute to hit a Shell station, I think. I'm so tempted to actually say towns and stuff. And I'm like, well, you can go here. Should be one here. We call our Shell station Z. So the gas stations all suck. Yeah. Or Z. Or Z. Gotcha. So you'd say that you're gonna go up to the Z for some petrol, and everyone knows you're going to the Shell station. I still think that I think it was Hippie Long who come up with for Buff's car the Z sled. That's just priceless. I had some hokey name like the Brown Bomber to kind of nod of the hat to Buff's aviation career. But yeah, Z sled. I'm like, you can't go wrong with that. I just use red diesel. It's cheaper. Cherry flavor. Cherry flavor. What's going on, Cousin Mike? Welcome to the Wolverine Garage. That's weird. Code Red Diesel. Oh, it's fruit. I've heard it all from fruit punch to cherry flavor to Code Red. Yep. Cousin Mike is very shroomed out and he has has had a lot of drinks tonight. That usually goes hand in hand. We'll have all right, Cousin Mike. Buff, God, Ed, get Ed, fed, and said. No, I didn't. I haven't watched boxing in quite some time. Ooh, okay. Happy trails. Bum ba dee da bum da dee da bum da dee da dee da dee da. Like the end of 1984. Van Halen 1984. How dodgy I am. My lady this morning, when she works night shift, and she drives past this, it's a medium-sized town where she works at, and there's a little hotel on the outskirts. And she couldn't hardly describe what they were, but we figured out that they're like Model Ts, Model As, early horseless carriage cars, and all these guys had come to a hotel, and they started to cruise our area, and they all were HQ out of that uh, hotel, and that was actually pretty cool. She said two of them drove past our house later in the day. She goes, one was smoking terrible, and I'm like, well, what do you expect? And the guy was old; he was like 80. I'm like, good for him. I said, hey, if I owned one of those cars, would you cruise around in it with me? She's like, oh yeah, that's a cool car. That's my lady right there. I'd own some old car like that, like a Model A or a old Oldsmobile. DougsterWolverineGarage. Lars, what's happening? Welcome. Thanks, Gracie. Hey, that dinner you made looked pretty dang tasty. How old am I? I'm old enough to know better, but I'm still too young to care. I'm 47. Do it wrong twice and it will be right. Oh, we do it nice because we do it twice. Now remember, two wrongs don't make a right, but three lefts do. Bye. Two wrongs don't make a white. Wrong. I did out on the last meal I did out on the grill. I did Brussels sprouts and potatoes. Oh wait, yes, Bud the Spud. Say hi, Bud. Uh-huh. We can't tell them that. Bud's being cheeky tonight. Did Brussels sprouts and potatoes and onions, and then chicken thighs, all in my cast iron skillet, and then I got my grill up to 400, and then cooked it with the lid shut on it. It's an acorn grill, so it's shaped like an egg, and that's a pretty good grill. I like it. Peruvian food. Oh, did you have escargot? Peruvian food. Oh man, you know them swordfish steaks you're talking about, Danster, sound pretty damn good too. I bet it was out of this world. But that fish cooks fast. It's like, and then it's time to eat. It's done. I have a grill that's shaped like a tree fellow. Everything rolls right there. I'm still using a now rusted out hibachi I pulled out of the trash 30 years ago. Hey, Terry. Alder is my favorite wood to smoke with. Alder in German means eagle. No, Adler. Adler. Sorry, not alder. Adler. Adler is eagle in German. Sorry, I was close. I like Peruvian food. Actually, I used to work with a Jamaican guy at my last job. And he worked at a Jamaican restaurant as a cook. We all worked second shift. So he'd work mornings and mid afternoons at the Jamaican restaurant, and then he'd come to work. And he'd always bring something from work to eat. And he actually one day goes, I am sick of eating this. What do you have? And I said, I've got this. He goes, do you want to trade? I've never had that. Do you want to trade? Sure. So we traded lunch. He'd bring in like jerk chicken or red snapper fish and stuff like that. It was out of this world. I always traded him lunch. Want you trade? You bet. But I could see he ate the Juan. Hello, Juan. It's nice to see you. Juan likes tools. So here, Juan, this is my new hammer drill, DeWalt Atomic. I won it at a, you probably seen, I think you remember seeing my short on it. I won it at drawing at Christmas at work. Free tools. Brushless? Yeah, I think it is brushless. Yes, brushless. It's always in the last place you look. I should have looked there first, right? Still would have been the last place I looked. Do I want the new 1007? What I really want is a DeWalt half-inch impact, a big Skookum one, brand new. That's what I want. If I was going to buy a new, it's a great drill. I like it. I've used it. I haven't used it a whole lot, but it's good. I haven't complained about it yet. My other one, I kind of overheated it, so it kind of smells like you let the smoke out of it. Still runs great. Oh, it is a beast. What I've got's a beast? Sweet. So I could probably could I put a half bit on that and let her chooch? Is what you're saying? Okay. Brushless doesn't work on Faith. I got one. What was that stare? It was just a stare. And then jumped. Oh, what's happening is that as I move stuff, set it down. Yeah, the camera's on a rickety table. Oh, the power stack, it's new. Okay, I'll have to check it out. Power Stack or Stack Lithium is the name. Found the leak problem. Got it whipped today. Nice. Sometimes trans leaks will just drive you up the wall. Oh man. Power Stack. I have to check that out. I always kind of always look for the deals. I've got a whole bunch of the old style um, bottom load 18 volts. I've got a couple of lights that run on that old stuff, and I want to upgrade them to LED bulbs for them because I know they're going to really shine bright and last longer and not make heat. That's the best thing. So I think that'll actually make those things last a lot longer. Resealed it like 4 times. It was a cooling line loose. You couldn't see. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I hate is when you spend all the time, like resealed it 4 times and you're like, it's still leaking. And you're like wanting to pull your hair out of your head. It's still leaking. What do I do? Sometimes would have deals on like a Chinese groceberry. It just kind of ended up being what I wound up with is buying the, hey, I got this for X. You want them? Sure, yeah. And then a friend of mine comes to me one day and he's like, here, I got a whole box full of DeWalt stuff. Here, pick through it, see what you want. That's where I got like the lights and stuff and extra batteries and chargers and off of that old 18 volt. And I got some smaller stuff too. I've got this one drill that's kind of it's really small. I call it the banana. It's a DeWalt drill. It takes a small battery. It's smaller than like an 18 volt. It's like a 9 point something volt, and then it can break action and tilt down, so it kind of looks like a pew pew. And it's nice to use, but the battery doesn't last very long in it. Then again, it's an old tool, but works great. Figure out how to make manual brake adapter plate for the Diplomat. I know I had asked you for the dimensions for the one from your wagon. Of BYD Dolphins. BYD, bring your own dolphin? Instead of BYOB, it's BYD, bring your own dolphin. They say that dolphins will hang out together, especially adolescent dolphins, and there is a certain fish that is poisonous to them, and then a bunch of male dolphins will get together and hang out, and they'll get one of those fishes, and then they chew on it just a little bit, and it makes them high, and they'll pass it around. Now, isn't that interesting? It's good to borrow the neighbor. Those are good to borrow. Yeah. Here, if you never return it, it's fine. No. Yeah, actually, as long as you can keep a hot battery in it, it's for little stuff like you drive a bunch of screws with it, you'll be like, it's done after 3 or 4. It's the sting of the pufferfish. Ah, okay. Thanks, Kim. Dolphins like to get high. Go figure. One screw and done. it's more than that, but I mean, yeah, when you got a lot of work to do, because I was just like doing a small project. I was only driving screws that were into some plywood. They're only like 1.5 inches, And yeah, I drove like 4 of them, and this thing is like, I'm actually doing this with it, tightening up the screw using the force of it to finish. 5.5 by 5.5. I remember that now. I'm old and forgetful. Sorry about that. That almost sounds exactly like what I would do. What, that's what the fishes say? You sleep with the fishies? The beer's good or the drill's so bad. Dutch has all rigid tools, and he's got some nice stuff. Got to use his palm sander. That was actually pretty cool. Sanded out a whole truck box with it, damn near, while I was there. It's a puffer fish. You did it on purpose. Ta! The sting of the puffer fish. I knew that Kim would come through. Thank you, Kim. Oh, by the way, might as well plug our friends tomorrow night and come check out Kim Fixes Things and Buff Del Campo. They're going to be live tomorrow. Always a good time. I need a puffer fish hookah. Yeah, they always take a second, and you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, I mean, you guys always take a second and shout me out, so why not shout you guys out? Yeah, always Kim and Buff, and they're usually in the shop like a few nights a week, but they're live in the shop or live in studio, and usually on Tuesdays they look at. People will send them pictures of cars. We talk about basically everything and nothing, just like we do here, boldly going nowhere. You're right. You're absolutely right. Back in the day, it'd get you thrown out of places, but now I've made all amends, and now they're like, "Oh yeah, come on in." Yeah. When I'm going to do a horizontal live, I probably should do one. I've always been doing vertical. Well, hey, sometimes the vouch is all you need. Hey, Doug sent me. Oh, Dougster? Okay. What's happening, Nutella? As a kid, everyone figured out that I was, who my dad was. They're like, he's your old man? All right, cool. That opened up a lot of doors for me, just being so-and-so's kid. Not Scott. Have you ever have you had an almost death moment? No. No, I haven't. Knock on wood. No, I haven't. Yeah, I talked to Scott just today. He's doing great. Themis Doug sent me. Someone laughed out loud behind the green door. Behind the green door. Do you believe in ghosts? I've never seen one. That I don't know. I've never seen a ghost. There's got to be apparitions. You hear about them all the time. So I guess I've never seen one though. But I don't. They probably are real. I don't know. Whoa, easy, Danster. Ooh! It's the ghost of Mean Street Mopar. Ah! Ooh! Ooh! I have seen the, yes. Dean was good enough for us to flush the toilet so we could watch the water flow backwards. That's the kind of quality service you can expect from Dean Stevenson, Kiwi expert extraordinaire. Who knows more about the kiwi bird? Who else other than Dino? I do remember that. He's taken us on all sorts of drives back when he wouldn't say anything either. We'd just be going on a drive somewhere. And back when he had the handle of Home on the Ranger. I'll be right back. Do 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 do. Oh, closing down the shop for the evening. Humor with Dean. I love just how Dean operates his channel. The videos are just great. Show You USA Tools. Crescent, USA. That was quick. You know, it's been really funny for all the years. I've always called them crescent wrenches, but I've never owned a crescent wrench. And then I found that at a yard sale, and I'm like, crescent wrench? Oh, yeah, I'm buying that. The other one's got to be made in the USA, but it doesn't actually say made in the USA on it. Yeah, it's great. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. This one I got for $1 at a yard sale, and you couldn't get it adjusted out anymore to about right there. And what had happened is they used it like a hammer, and they buggered this whole end up, and it was all mushroomed out to where it wouldn't pass through the body anymore. And I ended up getting it all filed back down and working again. And hell yeah, well worth the $1 I spent on it. I must have spent probably 3 hours getting it. Your Winchester pocket knife is made in China. All millimeters. That's right. This one's millimeters because it doesn't say made in USA. This one says USA on it, so this one's standard. Yeah, SAE. Your Winchester pocket knife is made in China? All right, fine. Now we're pulling out pocket knives, eh? Oh, here's some more made in USA tools for you. They're Juanito. All right. Schrade old timer pocket knife. Probably 2000 vintage. Last of the USA Schrades. They went to China right after this, but it says right there, Schrade USA. Focus. Well, anyways, it says Schrade USA. So more USA tools for you, Juan. Hey, Juan, I'm a USA tool. Yeah, Dan would. Dan totally would. Dan and I think on the same wavelength a lot. I had a blast hanging out with Dan and Tom at No Name Nationals and 6% and Hubert's Project and everyone I met at No Name. Good time. Can't wait to do it again. Can't wait to do it again. Made in the territory. That's true. That's true. Yes, Juan, you're right. I got a Matco screwdriver replaced, and they gave me a long number 2 Phillips. It was a number 1 long handled Phillips, but they didn't have one, so they gave me a 2. And it's a magnetic tip made in Germany. That's a nice screwdriver. Trying to think where that push drill is. I got a whole bunch of USA stuff. Any vices? Well, I drink a lot. I chase loose swimming. Sometimes gamble. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, tools? Just kidding. No. I knew what you meant. As a matter of fact, I have a blacksmith's vise that I still need to set up. And then I have a little itty bitty vise, and it's probably that big. And it's got a C-clamp built into it to put it on like a 2x4. So those are the only vices. So after that, I would only be left to my devices. Do I have any Channel Lock brand tools made in Meadville, Pennsylvania? No, I do. No, I don't. No, I don't have any Channel Lock tools. I've got all sorts of good names, like Thorenson, Powercraft, Blackhawk. Very little Snap-on. I do have some Snap-on stuff. A little bit of Mac, a little bit of Matco. Lots of Craftsman. Lots of Craftsman. SK Wayne. Blackhawk 9000 now available at Target. What else do I got? Get locked out with the wrong vice. SK is no more. SK is kind of floating in the ether. It's who knows. I think SK could be coming back. Yeah, it's kind of sad where SK went. Even worse is how you going to warranty your tools. One day I was talking about SK Wayne tools, and my friend Cliff, probably one of the biggest gearhead guys I ever met, he was the first guy to show me that you can think so far outside of the box that you can take the box and make something really cool out of it. He likes SK? Where? Who's dealing SK? I've got sockets to turn in. And he walked into the back of his shop and he pulled out a 5-gallon metal pail that was 3/4 full of broken SK Wayne sockets. He goes, you point me out to the SK dealer and I'll be on my way. Okay. My blacksmith's vise that I have, its jaws are like this. And the reason why I grabbed it is because of Grandpa Dougster. My grandpa was a maintenance man for Pepsi. And he just always had a way of doing things that was a good idea. And one of the things that I remember from his workshop as a kid was he had a blacksmith's vise that he welded a old spindle onto, and then he had an old tire, a deflated tire, and bolted it to that. So he had his vise, a self-standing vise, anywhere that he wanted it in his shop. He just had to roll it around. And I always thought that was way smart. So when I ran across that blacksmith's vise, and I don't know if I should set it up like Grandpa did, or if I should just have it mounted to the wall like a normal one. So, oh man, coming hard on you, and your aim is true. I've got a name and I've got a number. I've got a line on you. Genesis. Gonna visit Buff for his garage sale. That'd be a call. Tall bitch vice is my favorite vice. Yeah, I'm always on the lookout for a nice big skookum vice. One time in my life, I wanted to go find an anvil, a good quality anvil, but those, my friends, are pricey. Let's see, 75 slices of American cheese and went temporarily blind. Wow. I bet you timed your next movement with a calendar. My tall hitch vice is my favorite vice. Ah, I see. Portable. Phil Collins did need a little goon help. Acme ones. I think it'd be cool just to have just a company that makes everything and just be Acme. Just like that. Acme this, Acme that, Acme. Phil Collins is no Michael Bolton. Funny Phil Collins story. Well, interesting Phil Collins story. So Phil Collins is back home in England, and a guy actually comes and knocks at his door and says to Phil Collins, he's like, hey, look, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm in a real bad position, and I need some money. can you please help me? I will pay you back every penny that I borrow. And Phil Collins just kind of goes, okay, whatever, fine. And he gives him the money, just whatever. And gives him the money, never expected to see it again. Just like, whatever. He had enough cojones to come up here and ask me for it. What the hell? Like 2.5 years later, the guy comes back and pays Phil Collins back every penny owed plus interest. He's like, thank you. You helped me in a time that I really needed help. And man, I'll tell you what, just the fact that dude was there trying to pay me back, I would have told him to keep it. But I have a feeling he would probably be one of those guys that would say, no, you are owed this. There you go, sir. Dude, you ruined Genesis. We're headed to the shop. Got to get something fixed before it gets any later. Buff, Kim, wrench on, my friends. You know what? I think we're going to pull the plug on this one. Very nice. Next time we go up to water so it will flush yet again. Nice. So, I think it's time to shut her down for the evening. I had fun as always. So, let's be like the Beach Boys. Let's get together and do it again. So, show up next week. Same Dougster time, same Dougster channel. Bye, everyone.